This is the Cardi Method Podcast.
Wake up to your human existence. Imagine living your entire life in a dream, not the kind that inspires, but the kind that dulls you into submission. You go through the motions, you wake up, you go to work, you pay bills, you chase weekends. You do this year after year, and one day you realize you never actually lived the life that you wanted. You just followed the script. School, job, retirement, rinse and repeat. This is the default path. And for most people, it's all they ever know. As a photographer or somebody who wants to become one, you already feel that itch. You already feel that friction. You know that deep down, you were made for something else. You weren't put here to sleepwalk through life. You were made to see, to feel, to document the human condition through your lens. And maybe, just maybe, you were meant to build a life around that. One that doesn't involve a boss or a break room or a schedule that you didn't choose. This is what waking up looks like. It's not about motivation. It's about truth. It's about becoming more human, not less, and using your camera as your tool to do that. Today we're talking about living up to your photographic potential, because that's why I'm here. I'm here as a 35-year pro photographer and a coach, someone who's here to help you live up to your photographic potential. Now know this, you're not just a photographer. You're a system disruptor. And when I say photography saved my life, photography gave me life. I mean it. It gave me a reason to question the system. It gave me purpose. Photography gave me direction. Photography gave me an identity. But here's what nobody tells you when you start. Your success as a photographer isn't based on your talent alone. It's based on how willing you are to challenge the systems that you were handed. The systems that tell you what's possible, what's realistic, and what's safe. Emerging photographers ask me all the time, how do I quit my job and go full time? The real answer is you have to become someone who no longer fits inside that job. It starts internally. If you still believe that that job is the safest route, you'll never build the courage or the conviction to leave it. You have to become the kind of person who sees through that illusion. That transformation starts with systems. Now, you have to know this, and it's very important. Systems are bigger than goals. Systems are greater than goals. And, oh my, discipline is way more powerful than dreams. Way more powerful. Here's the thing. Everyone loves to set goals. I want to be a full-time photographer. I want to get paid $5,000 per shoot. I want to work with brands, with artists, with publications. But if you zoom out, goals are just destinations. They're points on a map. They don't move you anywhere unless you have a system that builds momentum every single day. And most people never realize this. They set big goals, they get fired up, and then they burn out. Why? Because they have no system underneath to carry them through the grind, through the mud. Systems are greater than goals. That means instead of saying, I want to shoot for Nike, you set a system to pitch one dream client every week. Instead of saying, I want a better portfolio. You commit to executing one self-directed shoot every 10 days. Instead of hoping for inspiration, you block out time to shoot, whether you feel like it or not. Now, I didn't become a working pro photographer by dreaming. I became one by systemizing my habits and removing decision fatigue. That's what carried me through the days that I didn't feel like showing up. We have to craft our destiny, and we truly do need to break free from this blueprint that people make for us. We do. It's so critical. If you don't define your future, trust me, somebody else is going to define your future for you. I've seen it so many times. Photographers who have amazing raw talent, they have the curiosity, they have the drive, but they never stop to ask what they actually want. So they chase what everyone else is chasing. The trends, the Instagram aesthetic, the gear upgrades, but they never really define their own lane. You have to get radically clear on what kind of life you actually want to live. Do you want to travel constantly? Do you want to shoot in your own city and build a local reputation? Do you want to teach? Or do you want to be behind the scenes? Do you want to photograph people? Do you want to shoot products? Do you want to shoot places? Don't just think about the kind of work that you want to make. Think about the kind of life that you actually want. Because professional photography isn't just a job. It's not my job. I don't actually have a job. I'm a photographer. This is my life. It's a lifestyle. And I designed it. I designed it to be this way. If you don't design it to be that way for you, you're going to default into someone else's idea of success. And when you're living someone else's version of success, you're going to hate it. I promise you, you're going to hate it. Anybody who had a backup plan, anybody who said, I want to be a photographer, but that's really hard. So until I figure that out, I'm going to do this. Those people are doing that thing right now. Your backup plan becomes your plan. I promise you, if you have a backup plan, that's what you're doing. Because dreams die. Dreams die when something easier reveals itself. Something that appears easier. Believe me, there's nothing easier than working for yourself. There's nothing harder than working your ass off for someone else's wallet, for someone else's dreams. But people don't look at it like that. You're working for the owner of your company's dreams. And I promise you, this is biblical, okay? Because in the Bible, it says there is only 3 jobs. 3 jobs. Slave, soldier, business owner. Those are the only 3 jobs. Slave, soldier, business owner. So, which one are you? I'm a business owner. I work for myself. I call the shots. I control everything. And I say no to people that I don't want to be around. Photography isn't a job. It is a lifestyle. And you have to design yours. If you don't choose your destiny, someone else will pick a default destiny for you. And you're probably living that right now. I promise you, self-awareness is your superpower. Self-awareness is your superpower. Before you can build a career, you have to build a self. A self. It starts with awareness. You have to ask yourself, what kind of photographs do I love making? What style feels like mine, even if it's not trendy? Where do I feel strong? Where do I feel like I'm singing with this camera? And where do I feel weak? Where am I not so good? Not so good within the space of photography. Do I avoid certain types of shoots out of fear or disinterest? Not interested. I avoid those kinds of shoots. Self-awareness is the root of all growth. I promise you, self-awareness is where we're trying to get to. Now, self-awareness, it's not about being hard on yourself. It's not. It's about being honest with yourself. It's about being honest with yourself. For years, I really did think that in order to make it as a photographer, because I started as a fashion photographer, then I shot portraits. But when things weren't rocking because I didn't have systems in place, I would shoot anything. I would shoot a wedding. I would shoot an event. I would shoot products if someone sent them to me. Whatever paid. Because I'm trying to survive as a photographer only. But once I got brutally honest and I realized that I didn't want to make any of this other work, I wasn't as good at it as I was at portraits, fashion, people-based photography, making pictures, I'm way better at than taking pictures. Once I realized that I was an editorial portrait photographer, once I realized I wanted to make magazine-style portraits, only editorial, expressive, creative, once I realized that I had to be a sharpened spear, that changed everything. And once I claimed that, the rest of my path got clearer. I started making better work. I started attracting the right clients. And I started showing up differently. Started showing up with a little bit of swag. Started showing up with a little bit of confidence because I was doing one thing over and over and over and over and getting fast. And I'd shot Tom York from Radiohead and Pharrell Williams and Tony Bennett. And like, I was starting to build a reputation in that editorial portrait space. I started showing up differently. It's the power of self-awareness. Once I realized who I was as a photographer and started being just that, I started showing up differently. The work started being put together differently, and the world started to recognize what it is that I was doing. That is the power of self-awareness. Vision is the compass for everything. Vision is the compass for everything. You need a vision bigger than just, I'm going to quit my job. You need a vision way bigger than just quit my job. That's a starting point. That's not the destination. Well, you need to ask yourself, what does your ideal day look like as a full-time photographer? What's your ideal day look like? Who are you working with? Stylists, makeup artists, models, executives, IT specialists who are horrible at being on camera and have no face. Who are you trying to bring value to? So who are you working with? What does your ideal day look like? Starting with, who are you working with? And what kind of shoots are you doing during this ideal day? Are you doing 4 headshot sessions, 1 every 2 hours for the whole day, charging each one of those people $500 to $1,500? What kind of shoots are you doing? Are you shooting fashion, shooting models for agencies, bringing value to agencies and helping them sell their girls day in, day out, serving the fashion industry, sending your work to magazines? What kind of shoots are you doing? Hey, where do you live? Do you still live where you are now in Nowheresville, USA? Or are you moving in your ideal day? Do you live in a major market? Do you live in Chicago? Or do you live in Miami? Do you live in LA? Do you live in New York? Do you live in London, England? Do you live in Milan? Do you live in Paris? Do you live in Cape Town, South Africa? Where do you live? And what do your mornings look like? Do you have a routine? Do you wake up, get your yoga mat, do some stretching, do some push-ups, go for a walk, bring your camera with you, look for some locations? What's your morning routine look like? Jump on your computer, get on LinkedIn, do some research, see if any of your ideal clients have responded to any of your DMs or comments on their content. What do your mornings look like? What are you doing to move your needle? And how are your clients finding you? How are your clients finding you? Me, clients are going to Google. This is how it happens pretty much all the time. They're going to Google and they're typing in Google editorial portraits Toronto. And yes, it's here already because I do this demonstration all the time, but you can do it at home. Go into Google, type editorial portraits Toronto, and you'll see under this sponsored photographer, Steve Cardy. You don't even need to know my name. And if you want editorial portraits, which is what I shoot in Toronto, people just go to Google and then they click and then they get hit with Pharrell Williams above the fold and magazine style. Oh my God, Colin Firth above the fold. So they get hit with editorial style portraits, which is just what I do. And if they look at my tear sheets, they get hit with Michael Sheena's Hamlet and Strombo for Apple Music and The Porter and Vogue Singapore and Brad Marchand for Nike. They get hit with editorial work. So I work. That's how my clients find me. And not to mention word of mouth and social media, my content and LinkedIn and all the other places that I permeate and put my work and my message. I know how clients find me, but how do your clients find you? What's your income during your ideal day as a photographer? What is your income? What's your impact? This is your vision. You have to visualize your ideal day, and vision is your compass for everything. Vision is your compass for everything. So your ideal day, your income, what does that look like? For me, I make $5,000 a day, plus expenses, plus usage. That's me. That's my income when I'm shooting. What's your impact? What impact? I wouldn't be able to charge those rates if I didn't have an impact on the clients who are hiring me. So what's your ideal day look like as a full-time photographer? And ask yourself who you're working with, what kind of shoots you're doing, where do you live, what do your mornings look like, how do your clients find you, what's your income look like, what are your rates like, And what's your impact on the industry? These are things you have to ask yourself. Write that down. Make it real. And by the way, if you're not making notes when you watch me, write it down. Writing it down makes it real, because until you know who you're working with, what kind of shoots you're doing, what market you live in, what your morning routine looks like, how clients are going to find you, how you're making your money, and what impact you're having on the industry, until you know that, you're just wandering. You're just wandering. And don't worry if it feels impossible right now. This is how it's supposed to feel. That's how it's supposed to feel. The vision is supposed to stretch you. That's the whole point. The vision is supposed to stretch you. You don't have to figure out the right way to do this today, like right away. You just need to define the what it is that you're going to be. You just need to define the what clearly. I've had to recreate my vision so many times over the 35 years that I've been a pro. So many times. I was a fashion photographer first. And then I realized that I liked fashion. I liked shooting fashion, but like I wasn't a fashion guy, you know? So it's like fashion had to catch up with me, which it did many years later. So I realized I was a portrait shooter. And I also realized that the best advice I ever got from anybody was from the art director of the Globe and Mail newspaper back in 1994 when I showed my fashion portfolio. He looked at my book. He was like, great. Oh, I'm great. You know, that was one of the best fashion portfolios I've ever seen, is what this art director said. I have goosebumps. I literally have goosebumps just like thinking about this story. But he said this: any photographer can take pictures of beautiful people in beautiful locations with beautiful hair, makeup, styling. It takes a real photographer to photograph the rest of us. What kind of a photographer are you? And that hit me in the gut so hard. And then he's like, here, shoot this. And it was a portrait. And I shot 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20. I shot for him for like 3 years. And because of the portrait work that I did for the Globe and Mail, I shot the biggest celebrities like that my head could even wrap my head around. Starting with Phil Collins, Roger Moore, 007, like Robert Forrester. Like I shot so many massive celebrities. I've had to recreate my vision several times over 35 years. But every reinvention started with a new, sharper vision of what's possible. I say this to the people that I coach. You have to hold on to strong ideas loosely. This is a strong idea. I'm holding on to it loosely because if another better, stronger idea comes along, I'm prepared to let go of that strong idea and hold on to a better, stronger idea loosely. Because ideas evolve and also ideas expire. Solutions expire. I'm going to give you one more. This guy named Steve Jobs, genius. He's like, I'm going to invent this thing. It's going to be a device. Everybody's going to have it in their pocket. People are like, you're crazy, blah, blah, blah. He had to stand on an idea of something not yet built. He had to have a vision. He had to stand on the idea of every single person is going to have this mini computer with like just a screen and no buttons. They're going to have it in their pocket. But this amazing vision created a problem. Created not just one problem. This amazing solution created all kinds of other problems. This is vision, okay? This, as soon as you drop it, oh shit, I just broke it. So they had to make these cases in order to put this in that, because the phone itself, although it was a solution, it created a problem. You needed to have a case on it. But guess what else? These things, they were empty. There was nothing on it. Like, they didn't know what people wanted this thing to do. So they're like, well, we'll just ask developers. We'll just give them permission to build things that work on this. So each solution creates a new problem. And the thing is that problems expire, because this photographer, his name was Chase Jarvis. Chase Jarvis invented this app called Best Camera, because the camera itself, this app, Chase Jarvis, Vision, the app that the phone came with wasn't very good. So Chase Jarvis built a camera app for this phone that was better than the camera app that the phone came with. He made $1 million in one day. Vision and solutions to problems create more problems. And then you create a solution for that problem, creates another problem. So there's people like photographers who literally, that's all we do is solve problems. And that problem expires and we have to solve it again. Like, you do a photo shoot for someone, they release that photo shoot, everybody's seen that work. Are they going to release that same work again? No, they got to shoot new work and release that, because your solution that you made with your photos was used, they benefited from it, then it expired. So then you have to do another photo shoot. So I'm telling you, every reinvention in the world starts with a newer, sharper version and vision of what's possible. Vision is the compass for everything. So how do you go from vision to execution? How do you go from vision to execution? Well, there's a hierarchy of goals. There's a hierarchy of goals. Once your vision's in place, you have to break it down. Okay? Once your vision is in place, you have to break it down. Big dreams don't get moved in one move. Like, you don't complete dreams in one foul swoop. Like, dreams happen and dreams become reality from the micro things that you do every single day. So our dreams get broken down into micro movements. So we have to set a long-term goal. And my long-term goal, build a profitable editorial portrait photography business. Build a profitable photography business. Okay, this is a long-term goal. It's called a horizon goal. Something that you are every day, you're working towards that horizon. But then you have to break it down yearly. And what would be your 1 year goal? What's a smart one? Book 12 paying clients. 12. One a month for 12 months. That's a great 1 year goal. And then what your monthly goal needs to be is you need to shoot high quality portfolio projects and put a number, say shoot 4 high quality portfolio level projects. And then you break it down to weekly. Weekly, I'm going to pitch 3 new leads. 3 new leads every week. I'm going to find them on LinkedIn and pitch them. And then I'm also going to post every week at least 2 new strong pieces of work. And this is how I help photographers move from being dreamers to being professionals inside the Cardi method. You know, every phase of my system builds momentum towards your bigger vision, but it starts with clarity. That's why I tell people to do phase 0. Phase 0, you can go thecardimethod.com/the system. Phase 0 is how you get clarity, because you can't hit a target that you don't define. Photographers, they don't have a target. They don't know what they're trying to do. And therefore, 86% of photographers fail within their first 2 years. So, like, so many ways that you can win. Number 1, consistency. Number 2, staying in it, not quitting, because your competition quits. They quit. They go back to that full-time safe job. It's not really safe. You know how many photographers I've helped who've gotten fired, who've had just no job? So while they're in unemployment, they're like, I'm helping them, and then they never actually have to go back to a job. They're just now photographers. So from vision to execution, the idea is that we're trying to turn projects into mastery. We're trying to turn these projects that we do into mastery. Don't learn photography from YouTube. You can't learn photography from YouTube tutorials alone. Like, you can't. You learn by making. Like, you learn by doing. Here's the deal. Most of the skills that you need as a working photographer, the lighting, the posing, the editing, the directing, color grading, the business, they're not learned by watching. They're learned by doing. And for me, I built the roadmap. So smart people just use my roadmap because I've done it. Why try to do it on your own from your head or from YouTube when you could just use a roadmap? That's what smart people do. Treat every personal shoot like a mini masterclass. Every single time that you shoot, you're learning exponentially. Do you want to get better at lighting? Do a 1 light portrait challenge. Seriously, do a 1 light portrait challenge. And by the way, I'm insane with lighting, okay? But just so you know, my first 2 years of business didn't own lights. I did everything natural light. Lived in Miami for a year, shot natural light only with a reflector. I've been published in more magazines, and they've published my natural light photography. And then after I got that 1 light, I lit with 1 light for 15 years. So do you want to get better at lighting? Do a 1 light portrait challenge. That's how you get better. 1 light, 1 reflector. Learn how to light. Want to learn composition? Shoot an editorial in a confined space. 1 location, 1 small location, come up with 16 photos. Like, seriously, a 16-page story in 1 small apartment. So learn how to shoot editorial in a confined space. You want to improve retouching? Shoot tethered and correct mistakes in real time. In real time. If you want to improve photography, shoot tethered. If you want to get better, shoot and see your picture on a monitor the second that you've shot it, so you can make corrections in real time. That's big brain. But I don't know how to shoot tethered. Guess what? That's what you can go on YouTube to learn how to do. Ding, ding. There's a problem, instant solution. Now that you know the problem, easily to go find a solution. So this is the principle of project-based learning. Project-based learning. And it's how I've mentored hundreds of photographers into 6-figure earners. You level up by doing the work in context, not by just studying theory. So you have to reinvent yourself with intention. If you want to become someone new, you have to start acting like them even before it feels natural. If you want to become someone new, start acting like that new person before it feels natural, because it's not going to feel natural right away. You've been doing the wrong thing for so long. When you finally do the right thing, your subconscious mind wants to correct you back to where you've always been, where it's natural. Try starting to work out. Working out is hard. You work out, you see no results, but it hurts. Work out again, see no results, but it hurts. Work out a third time, see no results, still hurts. Guess what happens? People quit. But guess what? It takes like 6-7 weeks before you start seeing results. So when you redefine your path, your subconscious mind wants you to go back to what you've always done, because it's more comfortable. And your subconscious mind doesn't want you to feel any pain, doesn't want you to feel any fear. So it continually roots you away from pain or fear. But pain and fear is where your millions live, So you have to start acting like that ideal person that you're trying to become before it feels natural. Change your environment, change your habits, change your friends if you need to, and 100% change your inputs. Oh my God. Do you know how many photographers that I know that are successful, that are watching shows on Netflix? Zero. Do you know any photographers that I know that are successful that watch TV at all? Zero. Replace Netflix with tutorial. I don't even have Netflix. Just FYI, I don't have Netflix. I don't have it because I don't have $1 million cool, easy in my bank account yet. Not yet. I'm getting there, but I don't have $1 million yet. So because I don't have $1 million in my bank account, I don't deserve the time to watch a show. Are you drunk? Replace Netflix with tutorials. Replace Netflix with education, inputs. Replace that endless scrolling with intentional research. Research replaces scrolling. And your old friend groups, replace them, if needed, with creatives who challenge you. How many of your friends run their own business? How many of your friends run their own business? They're entrepreneurs. They make 6, 7, 8, 9 figures. How many of your friends do you know are millionaires? Zero? How do you expect to be one? Because you're the average of the 5 people that you spend the most amount of time with. So if you're not hanging out with photographers who are living your ideal life, talking to photographers like I have in Pro Lab and Portfolio Lab, like you need to replace your friend groups with creatives who challenge you. When I was building my career and rebuilding my career after one of the biggest crashes, like let's talk crashes, COVID, wicked crash. Go before that, 9/11, massive business crash. I lost my apartment, literally, like it was bad. I didn't just update my portfolio to get out of these crashes. I updated my identity. Okay? Like that's how you get out of a funk. You update your identity. I updated my identity. I changed how I dressed. I literally changed how I dressed. I changed how I spoke, where I spent time. I built a new Cardi from scratch. I stopped letting people call me Steve. And that's what it takes. Reinvention is radical, but it's necessary. People don't call me Steve. There's 2 people who can call me Steve. My family, and my girlfriend. That's it. Everybody else calls me Cardi. Know this. This is something that is so important that so many photographers need to lock in. There are no mistakes okay? Mistakes are data. You have to use that data. There are no mistakes. There's just data. There is no such thing as failure in photography. There is no such thing as failure in photography, only feedback. I've made millions of images that I will never show anyone. Millions. That's not a flaw. That's the cost of growth. Every time an image doesn't work, ask yourself, why? Why does this image not work? And again, if you're part of Portfolio Lab, I actually tell you why your images don't work. Whether it was the light, maybe that is what wasn't working. Maybe it was the idea. Very often it's the idea. No idea is the reason that your photographs aren't working. The direction, the post-production. Every time an image doesn't work, ask yourself, light, idea, direction, post-production, and then fix it and iterate again. Do it again. That's how you get better. That's how mastery works. I shoot 100 frames to show 3. But those other 97, they're doing their job. They're my teachers. They're pushing my subject and me to the best images. They're helping me get there. We have to treat life like an ongoing experiment. We really do, because it is. You have to treat your life like an ongoing experiment. You have to stop waiting for the perfect conditions. Because I promise you, the perfect conditions don't exist. Everything is a test. Everything is a test. Life is a test. And it's a game. So you have to try new genres, try new niches of photography. You might think that you're a portrait photographer, but you might be a product photographer. So test niches, test prices, and test pitches. Okay? Test pitches, meaning pitch people, shoot in new locations, study what works, and ditch the things that don't. This is the mindset of a working creative. I do not shoot photos that don't work because I've worked through that they don't work and I've changed my idea already. This is the mindset of a working creative. When you treat your life as a series of controlled experiments, nothing feels like a loss. It all becomes data, and data builds confidence. I still test. Even after 3.5 decades in this game, I still test. I test everything. I test lighting setups. I test new formats. I test ways to build community. I test ideas on this YouTube channel. Photography-wise, I test. And the whole idea of shooting a model is called a test. It's either a free test or a paid test. You're testing the model to see if she's good, and the agency's testing you to see if you're good. This experimental mindset is how you evolve. It's beautiful. You have to treat your life like an experiment, and it's ongoing. Know this. The mastery method is a way of living. To me, it's the way of living. This is the truth. You are not going to wake up one day and find yourself being a photographer. You're not going to wake up and be like, oh, I'm a professional photographer. You're going to build into that person. You're going to build into that person, brick by brick, habit by habit, frame by frame. The mastery method is how I do it. and it's how I teach it. Clear vision, intentional systems, relentless self-awareness, project-based learning, consistent experimentation, and embracing our mistakes. If you follow these and you commit to showing up for 6 months, not just trying harder, but building smarter, you won't just be a better photographer. You will be a different human being. If you need help, go to thecardymethod.com, get the support you need. The business of photography is all that I speak about during this podcast. If you made it to the end and this brought you value, subscribe. Thanks so much for watching.
This commercial-free live stream was brought to you by the members of this channel. If it wasn't for you, we'd have to fill up these live streams with ads that would just interrupt the flow. The members of this channel make commercial-free content during these live streams possible. Consider becoming a member for $5 a month today to gain access to secret live streams, live chats, and to show your support with that crown badge next to your name. Sharing is caring. If this content has brought you value today, share it, clip it, post it to your socials. Curating and sharing helpful content makes you an expert, even if the content you're sharing isn't yours. Be a curator and share this content with your network. If you're an emerging or struggling photographer that's trying to break free from your current 9-to-5 grind and transition to the life of a working pro photographer, that's our obsession here at the Cardi Method. Register, get the support you need. If you're alone and struggling at this craft, make sure you join the Cardi Method community. You'll always find help in the show notes. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Find your creative and business genius with the Cardi Method.
If you like what I'm doing here with the Cardi Method, please consider becoming a member. Know that if I had only ad dollars making this thing run, I'd be making about $300 a month. But because of the members of this channel, I can actually, let's be realistic. This is not a moneymaker. I'm making very little money doing this on YouTube. So members are how this thing keeps going. I appreciate you.